Hello, I'm Akira Kusaka, the illustrator for A Bowl Full of Peace. I will try to express the difficult time I had drawing the illustrations for this picture book. To tell you the truth, when I was asked to draw illustrations for this story, I was perplexed. I belong to a generation that hasn't seen war. I haven't experienced war, so I was very anxious. Could my drawings really convey what happened to Sachiko in A Bowl Full of Peace? To be honest, I was afraid my chest would hurt. My feelings would jumble up, and those feelings would become so painful that I might not be able to complete the illustrations. Perhaps that's why I had been avoiding drawing about war without noticing. However, this time, I thought it would be a good opportunity to learn about war, and I decided to agree to the challenge. Before I began illustrating, I went to the library and collected resources about war and the atomic bombs. I studied a lot. After that, I visited the city of Nagasaki, which is the location of this picture book, and went to the Atomic Bomb Museum and the Hypo Center. I walked around Nagasaki, wondering what it was like back then. I couldn't meet Sachiko, but I met Professor Miyanishi of Nagasaki University and learned about her by talking with him. Based on all those materials and what I learned, I began to imagine the book's illustrations. I thought, it's a picture book, so the first thing I should remember is that my illustrations are for children. The most difficult part of illustrating was to keep the balance, to continually remind myself the book was for children.
そのバランスがとても難しくて一番考えました。
What I valued most were the emotions. I did my best to help readers feel what the characters at that time were feeling. By carefully choosing colors of the background and drawing people in silhouette, I could express their shifting feelings during the war. My goal was to match Karen's text and my illustrations so that this book would become a book with emotions, just like a human being. In this book, there's a scene where Sachiko receives ice chips to cool her burning mouth. I hoped that the illustrations for that scene could express the emotions Sachiko may have felt back then, and what she wishes for now for our book's message. I have the strongest feeling for that illustration. This is how I drew about war for the first time. I had a hard time looking through the documents about war. I felt as if I were living during the war while drawing.
自分が戦時中にいるつもりでずっと書いていたので、やっぱり途中で辛くなる部分もあったのですが、
But of course, people who actually lived back then had a much harder time. That encouraged me to feel strong, that I should be strong and not give up. This book conveys the distress and pain of war. But at the same time, I learned a lot about overcoming hardships and finding courage to confront difficulties. Thinking of those who lived back then made me realize that I'm very thankful and happy to draw like this. Drawing for this picture book made me take illustrating more seriously than before.
この絵本を書いたことによって、以前よりももっと真剣に絵に向き合えるようになったかなと思います。
This book may be based on Sachiko Yusui's experience, But in my opinion, it's not just a book. It's Sachiko herself. It's about her wish for peace, when she remembered the ice chips in her mouth while she was in tremendous pain. This is what we have to hand down to posterity. Unfortunately, war still happens, and nuclear weapons are still a threat, even now. But I hope this story will give you a chance to think about peace, and that Sachiko's wish for peace can be passed down to you and your descendants.